Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
This lawyer I knew wanted to rent out his childhood home. It was a 5-bedroom, but it was made in the fucking 30s. But he only wanted $300 a month, so I figured if I got 3 roommates I would spend more in gas a month than rent. The house was haunted as fuck. Weird shit happened all the time. But I remember this one time. Live in a basement room beside the stairs. Wake up one morning, just put on clothes and leave for work. Walk from my bed to the bedroom door. Suddenly something walks right behind me and stops right behind me. Nope. Open and close that door fast. Walk up the stairs fast as shit fast. Get to the top, stop. Listen. Suddenly something walks up the stairs. Only one who lived in the basement. Nope. Wait for the roommate to come around the corner trying to scare me. Hear the footsteps come right up to step before me, but don't see a damn thing. Nope. Run to door to leave house, scared as fuck. I heard something running towards me after I closed the door to the house. Standing outside, I literally hear the door open. Really old house, remember, so every door is unique, squeaky. Look at the door, it's not opening. Hear footsteps go down my porch and the door sounds like it got closed behind me. Nope. Same house. Getting high one day with a roommate cousin. Cleaned out the day before this other room in the basement, had all this junk in it. It's now his room since it's cleaned out. And I wanted company downstairs because of all the shit I hear. Our rooms were across from one another, with a wide open area in between that was once a downstairs living room. Close my door, hear someone come downstairs. Check it out, see if his girlfriend or daughter comes with her. Close the door, watch TV for a while. Heard his GF leave upstairs. After a few minutes, I hear a girl laughing and playing around in the little living room. Hear the second girl playing with her. Heard a loud clash happen. Go outside the room, thinking girls knocked something over. Some old paint cans were down there. Nothing. Roommate comes out asking me what's going on. Ask him where his daughter was. Said she left with his girlfriend. Ask him if he heard 2 girls playing in here. Said he heard my voice digging around for something, muttering stuff. Tell him I heard his daughter and another girl playing. Nope. Leave to get drunk and pass out at friend's house. Fucked up thing, I would often hear his daughter playing in that room. I would check to make sure it was his daughter and not, whatever, was this other one, and I would always hear another girl. After I moved out I found out that my room was my lawyer's little sister's room. She died when she fell off something while climbing. I am the first one to live in that room since. My roommate never did hear the girls playing like I did, nor did he ever hear the second girl playing with his daughter. Never heard her. But fucked up, he would hear his own daughter often talking to someone like there was a second person there. All my nopes are rising exponentially. Same house. I went to shower at my parents' house one day, cause one of my roommates fucked up the shower head and broke it. I took off my shirt and my brother was nearby. He then asked me what the hell clawed me. I took a look in the mirror. It looked wicked. I had this claw mark that went around my waist starting from the lower back to the front. This shit looked like it should have hurted to get it. But there was no breakage of skin. None. It did not hurt at all to press it. I took a shower. Then I went home. The next morning I took another shower at my parents' house. This time the claw marks were on the other side of me. I had a matching set. I told my brother and he was shocked too. He asked me what the hell I was doing to myself, cause he doesn't believe in paranormal shit. I didn't know what to do. That night I stayed up. It was around 3:41 a.m. when I heard this noise outside the house on the side. It sounded like a very large dog. It scraped at my farthest window. I sat in absolute terror then. I couldn't move. It moved to the window above my bed. I shit you not, its head peeked through the glass and looked at me. My nopes were off the scale. I was scared as shit. Its head turned into a pig. I shit you not, I tried calling out for my roommate to come over. Nope. I blinked my eyes and it was morning. The daylight was coming through the window. It was gone. I got up. I felt like I slept, but I didn't feel rested at all. Went outside my window. It rained earlier the previous day. Not a lot, but enough to make the ground muddy for a day. There was dog prints and a hoof print. One single hoof print. Nope.
B19. With two friends and in the mood for a scare. Decide to go look for some ghosts at haunted places. Try the local cemetery. Nothing. Go to an old mansion where one friend has been before a lot of times. Says he's seen a lot of shit there. Get to the house and immediately go up to the big glass front door. Friend that's been there a bunch stays by the street to look out for security. Can see right into the building, but it's super dark. Get the feeling of being watched. Can't see anything, so decide to go around to the side of the house. There's another glass door where you can see right into the building. Long hallway with old grandfather clock at the end. Two big rooms on either side, one with a slightly open window. Still feel like being watched. Don't see anything, so go to the other side of the building. Not quite all the way to the side, three big windows with no curtains. Remember this. Continue to the side. Nothing but high up windows. Notice one window's curtains look like someone's pulled them up at the corner and is peeking out. WTF. See another window with curtains that should be straight, but they curve to the side for some reason. No big deal. JPG. Go back to the three windows. Notice a faint, bluish light. Stare. Friend says.
Hey Anon, do you see that thing in the corner of the middle window?
What thing? Look. See some sort of dark thing in the corner. Suddenly it starts moving. Hunched over the shadowy figure of a man. Walks with a limp towards the window. Weird light in the back also starts to move. Light and figure move separately. Nope, back to the front of the mansion. Forgot to mention that no security people stay in the mansion at night. One security guy comes and visits at night and keys in, then leaves. Noping out at a friend that stayed at the front. Tell him about the old guy. Says he's seen him too in the long hall at the other side of the house. Also tells us to look up at the windows on a tower in the house. Two curtains have been opened since we got there. We've been legitimately watched this whole time. Nope.jpg. Too curious, so one friend and I went back to the side of the house with the three windows. No light. Can't see into the rooms anymore. Aw shit. Go farther around to see the other windows. Window with the corner pulled up is still pulled up. Window with curved curtains is now straight. Aw yes. Go back to the three windows. Wait for something to happen. About to give up. Then the light starts coming back. Move from the right window to all middle window. Doesn't stay in the back. Source starts coming toward the window. Also other lights in the other two windows. All weird bluish. One in the middle speeds to the window. Crazy feeling of discomfort. Just before noping out, see part of source. Not a flashlight or anything. Ball of light. Kinda misty stuff around it. Middle is super bright and white. Blue aura. Nope, out of there. Get in the car and leave. Feel watched and followed for the longest time. A lot of people died in that house. People have seen a lot of different things during the night and the day.
My parents' home is haunted and most of our family and friends have had some sort of encounter. We are in a fairly rural area of the Midwest with suburbs encroaching into the rural area. Most of us farming families have been in the area for at least 3 or 4 generations. We're pretty sure the ghost, spirit, energy, whatever you want to call it, is the original builder of the homestead, which includes the home, barn, garage, old grain shed, and workshop, smokehouse. There used to be another barn that was destroyed before my parents took over the property. Anyway, most of us have had encounters. Both my parents have seen him outside and inside the home, and he always appears as a shorter man with a mustache smoking a pipe. This description has also been confirmed by one of my brother's friends, my grandmother, and one of my father's good friends. I never saw him. When we were younger, it was pretty common to hear footsteps up and down the stairs while all of us were in the living room watching TV. Honestly, you got pretty used to it and it wasn't a big deal. My encounters happened all the way up until high school. In the middle of the night, someone would knock on my bedroom door. It happened maybe twice a week, and sometimes the door would creak open after knocking. My door didn't latch because the door frame had settled over the years and just kind of stuck shut. My grandmother told my mom that if I ever said I heard knocking, I wasn't lying. She heard it while staying the night in our guest room. The guest room is probably the creepiest part of the house. You walk in and get a slight feeling of uneasiness, and it's completely silent. As if you step into a soundproofed room closed off from the rest of the world. The atmosphere feels heavy and full that's a little hard to describe. None of us will stay in the room by ourselves, and my wife won't even go into the room. Overall, the ghost doesn't seem malicious at all. Just like he's left over. He's more active when we're doing work on the house or something that endangers the homestead comes along. We live in a floodplain, and he's way more active when it floods really badly every few years. The home has had 2 additions added on, and he became more active at those times too. 3 or 4 years ago, the back side of the existing barn collapsed and he was seen outside quite a bit more.
So I used to do fun ghost hunts in high school. We heard about a house that was haunted and the family abandoned it because the hauntings got pretty bad. He drove 50 miles to the town the house was, then had to drive 5 miles into the country, in Nebraska. What we found was a house surrounded by cornfields and a mini forest. The house was creepy as fuck and looked like it had not seen a human in years. The paint was mostly peeled off the outside and the inside was destroyed. When we looked around, we heard footsteps coming from upstairs, so we naturally looked upstairs. When we were upstairs, we heard footsteps from upstairs again. This time, upstairs means the attic. We found the way to the attic and we shined our flashlights and thought we saw a shadow move. We were naturally a little spooked by this, so we went back to the 2nd floor. We stood in a circle and felt a cold spot hit us. 2 of my friends followed this cold spot as it moved around the 2nd floor. I got scared, so I went back to the 1st floor. I stood on the landing with another friend right next to me. I was shivering uncontrollably and you could see my breath, but not my friends. When the cold spot hit the top of the stairs, I felt a hard pull on my pocket. I screamed and ran. We all stood together outside shining our flashlights in a circle when fog rolled in the light and scared the shit out of us. We ran to the cars and drove away. True story. I went back another night with the same people. Only the whole house was boarded up and all the leftover furniture was outside in a pile.
Okay, I have a story from when I was 3. This is one of my earliest memories. We were living in a house that my parents always say was haunted, but I was too young to remember most of the things they say happened there. But I do remember one weird thing that happened to me. And sorry that I'm horrible at writing stories. So, I was sitting at the kitchen table eating lunch while my dad was on the other side of the kitchen doing dishes or something. I was eating macaroni and cheese in the shape of Looney Tunes characters. I was waiting for my grandma to come pick me up to babysit me while my dad went to his second shift job. None of these things are relevant to the story, but I just want to say that this is how clearly I can remember that day. From where I was sitting, I could see the front door, which had a screen in it so you could see out. While I was eating, I noticed that there was this weird bird thing sitting at the door, staring at me. I'm not really sure how to describe it, and it didn't really look like a bird, but it was this thing that had feathers and a beak, was dark red and gray, and about 4 feet tall. And it was just sitting there staring at me with a look of anger. Like, I could tell just by its eyes that it wanted to hurt me. I can remember that look as clearly today as if it happened yesterday. I don't remember whether it eventually just left, or if I looked away and it was gone, but eventually it wasn't there anymore and I continued eating and never saw it again. Maybe it was just my little kid mind imagining things, I don't know. But I don't think I will ever be able to forget the image of those eyes staring at me.
I'll green text it, I guess. Be me, 15 or 16, spending the night at friend's house. His parents let him live in a camper behind their house. They lived on about 40 acres, far out of town, maybe 1.5 miles from a main road. His parents were out of town for the weekend and he had a small get-together, 2 other friends and me. Drinking, smoking pot, being idiot teenagers. I'm the last person to pass out around 4 a.m. Wake up to camper violently shaking and something grunting and beating on the back of it. No one is missing and friend was an only child. Everyone is waking up and coming to the same realization that there's something/someone out there doing this. Pounding stops, we all run outside to check shit out. Nothing, fucking nothing at all, not even tracks dents in back of camper, but no other signs that anything happened. Freaking out, decide to go back to the camper and try to go back to sleep. Suddenly we all hear a loud howl, but it did not sound like a dog or coyote, and I don't think there are any wolves left in western Kentucky. Trying to figure out where it came from, but don't see anything besides forest. Nope, into main house. Tactically shit ourselves as we start locking up the house. Friend tries to find key to his dad's gun cabinet. Fucking howl again. Freaking the fuck out. Hear the camper being beaten on. Noon is brave enough to look out the windows, so we all just hide in the house. Eventually stops after 15 to 20 minutes. We just stayed in the house until later that afternoon and noped the fuck out. I spent the night with him again the next week in the camper, but his parents were back and nothing crazy happened.
Be a kid. Normal childhood living in a fixer-upper 2-family home my father bought so he could fix and sell. Nothing out of the ordinary for first year or two. One day I came home from grocery shopping with my family. Notice a tennis shoe with bones in it on the front steps. Oil all over the stairs. Oil on the carpet inside. They used the mail slot to get it in. Grandmother says it's Centeria, Cuban-American friend here, and that someone has cursed the house. Be scared cause I'm only 8. Dad dismissed it as someone pranking us. A few weeks later shit starts to go down. Me and my brother shared a room in the attic. It was spacious and we got a separate room for toys and a pool table plus a Sega Genius so fuck yeah.png. One night in our room, we hear floor creaking in the playroom. It's an old house so dismiss it. Creaking turns into stomping. Start to shit bricks. Ask brother if he hears it. Says he does. All of the sudden we hear the billiard balls crash. It's like 3 a.m. so WTF? Nope the fuck out with brother. Grow a pair and decide to check it out with him. Open the door to the playroom and see the balls on the pool table are racked. We never left the balls racked and we just heard them crash like 4 times. Nope.jpg. Slam the door and jump in bed and pray with brother for like an hour till we both fall asleep. Be outside in the backyard playing basketball with neighbors and brother. Parents next door shooting the shit with neighbors' parents in their backyard. Finish the game and tell neighbor to go inside and get some high C orange from kitchen counter. Fuck yeah, high C orange. He comes back with the juice and asks us who the old guy in our kitchen was. WTF.gif. Me and brother are confused. We look at the kitchen window and see an old guy in the window. He was dressed in 30s attire. He looks at us and takes a bite out of a pepper. That bit still puzzles me to this day. Then disappears into thin air. Nope. Be still a kid. Be in sister's room looking for something. She had one of those life-size Barbies. See the Barbie's arm move in my peripheral vision. Dismiss it as mind playing tricks on me. Now her head moves slightly. I look at the Barbie and its head is jerking violently from left to right like someone shaking their head. No. But it was a jerking motion, not human-like. Noped the fuck out and didn't go back in her room until they threw that Barbie away.
When I was 8, my mom and I moved into a huge old house in between the two towns where she worked. It was far away from all of my friends and she was often at work, so I was left alone much of the time we lived there. I can remember very clearly one particular incident when I was home alone. I heard a strange scraping noise from the attic. I was just a kid, so I flipped and hid in my bed. It stopped after a while and I fell asleep. That night I woke up to the most acute impression that somebody was in my room with me. My mom came home late most nights and I hoped against hope that maybe it was just here, so I called out, "Mom?" In response there came the loudest fucking scream I had ever heard, right in my face, close enough that I could feel hot breath on my skin. It was the most terrified I have ever been. I was too terrified to act rationally, so I just hid under the covers and cried until morning. My mom came home around dawn and asked what was wrong, and a few days later we were out of there and never went back. Later she told me that on a couple of occasions she'd sensed something strange, and one night as she opened the door to the bathroom she saw a white face like a mask darting away behind the window. The bathroom was on the 3rd floor.
My old apartment had some weird stuff going on in it. It wasn't particularly scary, happening around me rather than to me, but it was a little startling at times. Hear footsteps walking on the floorboards. Sometimes you'd hear them and then they'd be muted when they got to the linoleum or carpet. Hear woman talking occasionally, but usually humming. She hummed a lot. Once my parents were over and the place was quiet. We were just waiting for the coffee maker and suddenly there was this tune coming from the hallway and echoing everywhere. Creeped them the fuck out, but I was used to it by this point. Sometimes cold spots, like it would be the middle of summer, hot and sticky everywhere, and then there would be this one area in the hall or middle of the living room or somewhere that was like putting your hand in the refrigerator. Sometimes it was nice, but usually it would only last a few minutes, so I'd have to go back to sitting in front of a fan. Scents like perfume suddenly filling the bathroom or bedroom, or the smell of someone cooking in the kitchen when I hadn't touched it. Doors opening. Actually saw handles turning a few times, faucets running, lights turning on or off, typical poltergeist-y things. Couple times there would be clouds of cigarette smoke in the living room, and I'm a smoker, but I never do it indoors, I always go on the balcony. Once my boyfriend, before he knew about any of it, came over, and when I let him in he asked me if I had anyone over, because he saw a woman in an upstairs window and thought it was just me in drag until I answered the door. I was a little jealous because I never saw her, just felt her around me. According to my landlord, it's been going on since the early 40s.
Renting out a house with girlfriend. House was built in the late 70s but was renovated over the years. Realtor said the guy who owned it couldn't sell it, so he had no choice but to rent. At night, you could see a cloaked figure in the bathroom moving left to right. Pounding coming from the inside of walls. TV flickering on and off for no reason. Never happened before or after living there. Figure would dart in front of the hallway light at night. Dog would follow something with her eyes and would growl. Talked to the guy who lived there afterwards and same thing happened to them.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.